everybody, and welcome to Life with Annie. So, I have an abundance of blueberries right now, and I thought I would go on Pinterest and find something to make with them. And I found it's supposed to be a really easy dumpling recipe, and it's for blueberries, but you could use blackberries, any kind of, berry that you wanted to. But since I have the blueberries, I'm certainly going to use them up. And I'm excited about this because I've never made this before. So right now what I'm going to do is get our dough mixture together. And I've measured out 1 cup of plain or all-purpose flour. And we'll put that down in there. And then I've got 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, not the soda, the baking powder, and then a pinch of salt in here. So we're going to put all that in there. And I'm just going to use my big fork for this project, this recipe. Okay, and then we're going to cut in 1 stick of butter. It says using a pastry cutter or a fork, so I got out the big guns. And it said to soften the butter. Now, it didn't say melt it, it just said to soften it. So I just set it out at room temperature. So putting a stick, and I'm using real butter, not margarine. Okay, and it said just to cut it in to your flour mixture. So we're going to do this, get this all cut in, and then I'll be back and we'll add in our milk and finish it up. We've got our dough mixed in, our butter mixed in with our flour mixture. And so then we're going to add in 1/4 cup of milk. And that is it for our dough. Alright, so we've got our dough mixed up. These are going to be drop dumplings. So I almost doubled this recipe because I'm really hoping these are going to be good, but I'm going to make 1 batch and then I can always make more because I've got more blueberries. Alright, so I'm going to set that aside and then we'll come back and we'll do the blueberry part of this recipe. Now it's time to cook the berries. Okay, so you need this recipe is for 1 quart of blueberries, and I googled it and it said 1 quart is roughly 4 cups. So that's what we're going with. So I measured out 4 cups of blueberries here. I've already got them nicely rinsed. Now I store these in jars, like here's one I had just emptied out here, in glass jars with lids, and they last so much longer for me. One of y'all told me that, I think it was last year, and I started putting my berries, and I put some strawberries and lemons in there too. But it really does a great job with the blueberries. So I'm going to go ahead and pour those in. Turn on my burner here. And then we need 1½ cups of sugar. This is granulated sugar. And then we've got 2 cups of water I'm going to add to that. I'm going to get a wooden spoon. We're just going to kind of toss these around. Let me see if y'all can see that pot. No, you cannot even see that pot. I bet y'all were hollering. Okay, let me see if I can raise you up a little. There we go. All right, there's our blueberries. So, 4 cups of blueberries or 1 quart, and then 1½ cups of granulated sugar. And then to that, we're just going to add 2 cups of, was it 2 cups I think, instead not 4. I want to make sure I don't tell y'all wrong. Yeah, 2 cups of water. All right. And you want to cook it in a pot that you have a lid for, because we're going to be dropping the dumplings, and then we need, it said to cover it. So I'm going to let these berries come to a boil. Once they come to a boil, we'll come back and we'll start dropping these dumplings. And hopefully watch the magic happen. Well, our blueberries are boiling. I'll give them a quick stir. And it said to drop the dumplings in by the tablespoon, so I've got a couple of tablespoons here. So let me grab my dough. I did put the dough in the refrigerator for a little bit, only because it's so cold. So cold. It's not cold. It's definitely not cold. It is so hot outside, and it's hot in here, and I just thought, it doesn't say to do that. It doesn't say to use cold butter or anything, but I'm just doing what I think I should do. Okay, so we're going to start dropping these dumplings in here, y'all, and it looks like, it said by the tablespoon. I'm just going to do them a little bit smaller and just drop them down in there. And then when we get them all in the pot, it said to cover the pot, turn your temperature down, and cook it for 20 to 30 minutes covered. And it said do not take the lid off and do not stir your dumplings. Now, I know you can roll your dumplings, you know, you can have recipes to where you roll your dough, but this is just a quick and easy. This is actually a Paula Deen recipe. All right, so I'm going to drop the rest of these dumplings in, and I'll be right back, and we'll get ready to cover this pot and let those dumplings cook. I've got one more little bitty baby dumpling I'm going to gather up here, and then we're going to put the lid on it. Okay, let's just kind of drop that one right there. A little bit of, no, my kitchen smells so good right now. It smells like my grandmother's house because of what I've got going there. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to put it on low, and then we're going to cover it. And like I said, it said do not stir your dumplings and do not take the lid off. And let me just go over that real quick. Cover pot, reduce heat, cook slowly for 20 to 30 minutes. Do not remove lid before 20 minutes has passed. Do not stir dumplings. And you can serve with vanilla, ice cream, or fresh cream. So the difficulty level of this is, let me fix this phone. Is easy. The prep time is 10 minutes if you weren't talking. The cook time is 30 minutes, and you get serving of 8. So this looks and smells like it's going to be really good. So we will be back in 20 to 30 minutes, and we will give these blueberry dumplings a taste. I'm excited. We're at 5 seconds now. This is the end of 20 minutes here. Okay. And this is what it's looking like after 20 minutes. All right, I will probably turn it up. I had it on low, but I'm probably gonna turn it up just a little bit. Oh, look at those dumplings. My goodness. All right, I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit more. It said 20 to 30 minutes. And it won't be long and we can test them. Get my lid back. I think we're ready, y'all. So at 20 minutes, I opened it up and it needed to go a little bit longer. So I put it in the extra, I put an extra 8 minutes. So our timer is off now. Burner is off. This is what we have. Look at that. I'm so excited. All right, so we have our dumplings, and in the directions it said not to stir them, so I did not. So aren't they beautiful? I'm gonna let them cool a little bit. They're just way too hot to mess with right now. But I've got my little sample bowl here. So we'll let these cool down in just a minute. We'll be back and I'll have a taste. I think our blueberry dumplings, they're still pretty hot. There's still a little bit of bubbling, but I think we'll be okay just to taste it. Now, it's right here at supper time, so I'm not going to eat a ton because I want to eat my supper, but I do want to taste them. Bring that a little closer for y'all to see. It's very hot still. Okay. This is just the dumpling. Y'all, these are so good. Our very own blueberries with homemade dumplings. And when we were kids, I don't recall my grandmother ever making anything with blueberries. I'm not saying she didn't, but I don't recall it. She would have done this with blackberries, and she would have used biscuits, I think, for her dough, if I remember right. But us kids, we like to take a little bit of milk, and we would just put a little bit of milk over our blackberry dumplings that she would make. And it just, number one, it cools them down, but number two, it just was good. Y'all, this is delicious. That's Thunder making noises. He wants me to let him out. Okay, y'all. This is a really good recipe if you like berries and homemade dumplings. Simple recipe too. I'm gonna enjoy these dumplings, y'all. I'm gonna eat a lot of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye.